All kinds of texture effects can be created very quickly in Affinity Photo, PC or Mac, using masks. First thing to do, go to Layer and New Layer. And this is going to be my mask layer. I'm going to fill it with, in this case, a gradient, but it could be a brush stroke, it could be text, it could be images, it could be anything to be used as a mask. So I'm just going to go with gradient and just apply it like that. And it's applied to this layer, not the background layer. And I can also add additional stops. Don't have to go with white and black. Also, you could also try different swatches. So just go to the swatches panel, which you can find in the window menu. Just go for swatches and select a gradient swatch. Now, with that pixel layer, it's an okay mask, but personally I would like it to be slightly more sort of smaller bit. So I'm just going to go over here, select the move tool, and then go to layer and new pattern layer from selection. As long as it's a pixel layer, you can turn it into a pattern layer. So new pattern layer from selection, and you can then resize this. It's not ideal. By default, the mirror is not on. I wish that was the case. You could actually just set it by default to be on, but I'm just going to set it on now. And I think personally that looks much nicer done. It's actually slightly blurrier, so you might like the other option as well. Perfectly reasonable. And you can then make it small, and you can also rotate it. There's a rotation here. You can rotate it, create all kinds of different designs. I'm just going to go for the straight grid-like design like that. But of course, the end result of this will be different depending on the gradient you've used. If you used a more colourful design, maybe it would be, or maybe less sharp, the result might be very different. So now I want to turn this into a mask. So layer and down to rasterize to mask. Rasterize to mask. Now it's using this layer, the pixel layer. That's the gradient one. Don't want it to be using that, so I'm just going to delete it. Now you can see the one that I actually want it to be used for is this, the background. So this mask is now applied to the background. Now, of course, if you've got lots of layers, that's not going to be effective. What I want to do is simply just drag this down and make certain it just highlights around there. Just make certain there. So just you see the blue there highlighted, release. Now if you expand this out, you should see it like this with a mask. But no, and it's associated with just that background layer now. You could, of course, rename the layer. I'm just using it as background. But now you can also go here, make certain the background layer is selected. Don't select mask. What you need to do is select the background and then go down to effects. Then go here, 3D. With 3D, you can then change the radius. And as you can see, what happens, just do that, and you can see you get this lovely sort of depth to it. You get a lovely rounded sort of design. And of course, you can create all kinds of different options. There's loads of different options here. You can change the direction. I'm not going to do that, but you can change direction to light sources and so on. But you can also go for profiles. So if you want to, just try them out. Maybe that one or that one. There's a whole range of them. A sharp one like that. I think that one would be quite nice to look at. So just going to go with that and click close. So the whole thing's closed, and you could finish at this point. You can still see the tape measure. Can't make out much else, I must admit. But you certainly can see part of the image. But what you can also do is just a layer, and obviously with a mask associated with it, go to the layers panel, and that can be found in window menu and layers, or view menu and studio and layers if you're using version 1. Now, you see that? I can just now right click and duplicate the whole lot. So that also now has the mask as well. And now it's on top of the original one. So it being on the top doesn't make it makes it slightly more pronounced. And you could, of course, repeat that. You could always do it 5-10 times. So create another one. And then what you can do is just a layer that you can move. So just move it down. And you can see as you move it, the result takes a few seconds to process. It's not instantaneous. You can reposition. It makes it slightly hard to Yeah, I think that's quite nice. So I've just repositioned it, slotted it into that gap. Now you can still see the tape measure. And of course, I say the original gradient and also, of course, the profile you're using in the style. All these things can be modified. So you've got this design now. Now you've got 3 layers. Now I'm not going to use the third one, but it's still there. But also you can always go back here and you can say, oh, I don't want that. I can just click there I've got 3D, I can click again on the profile and I can change profile, maybe go something like that. You've got these profiles down here. They're useful, but you can always edit it here and tweak it and change things, maybe change the radius. And then once you've got that, click close. And you can see now you've got a slightly different texture design very quickly just by modifying that. And you can also go to this one, click here, and again go to 3D, maybe change the radius setting, make it slightly less. Click here, maybe change the profile as well. Maybe go with one of these profiles and so on. All kinds of combinations can be created. And of course you can always change things like this. Just change the direction. So modify that. Change the ambient, maybe add another light source and so on. Whole range of different options, and you can of course tweak that. Create all kinds of different unique designs. Again, you've still got that original image. And you can always, if you want, go to this third one and move that as well. Select it. Now, sometimes it's not always easy to select. So if you find you can't select something, I always find the easiest way, just remove the other ones. Just do that. And then, now even then sometimes you find that you can't move it. And if you can't move it, it's not going to be much good, is it? It's locked. That's why. Helps. It's the background layer. And then you can move it there. I could spend hours doing that, trying to move that. And also, of course, you can always resize it. Doesn't have to be the same size. We'll make a slight shift in the end result, of course. And then you can always bring the other ones back and see the result of that, how it's combined. If you don't like it, you can always, of course, just delete and it's gone. Once you've got your design you're happy with, you can always then just combine it. Now you could just go and select them, so you could select both of those and then use the layer and down here to merge selected. Personally, the result never looks great. I don't know why it always fails. So what I normally do is use a layer and merge visible. Merge selected does work occasionally, but I always find the result is never what I expect. So now I've merged it all. You'll notice there is a slight problem with this. It's not great because you can see around the edge. It doesn't look great. If you're happy with that, of course, fine. But you can always crop it. So again, just go over here and you can select crop tool. And you can then just resize that and you can just remove that other bit and apply. Now, of course, it isn't actually cropped because you can see, I've never understood that feature of the crop. Why it doesn't offer the option to just trim it straight away. Maybe it is there, but I've never seen the command to do it. But anyway, layer, and you can always go down here and rasterize and trim. And that will remove it. So now you've got your design with your very unusual texture design, which of course could be anything depending on the profile you're using, the gradient you're using, combination of the gradients, etc. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you. A like or dislike, always appreciated. Thank you much.